I still hear the sound of that gate creaking open, and his voice cutting through the evening air like a knife I never saw coming. My name is Elena, and for 12 years I believed I was living the kind of love people write songs about. We started with nothing, just two kids from the old neighborhood, scraping by on instant noodles and big dreams. I worked double shifts at the hospital so he could finish his degree. I sold my mother's gold bangles to fund his first startup. Every late night, every sacrifice, I gave it willingly because I thought we were building something unbreakable. Together Daughter House was my fairy tale. White marble floors, a garden I planted with my own hands, and that tall iron gate at the front that always felt like the entrance to the life I had earned. I used to stand at that gate every evening, waiting for his car lights to sweep around the corner. I'd run my fingers over the cold metal and smile, thinking, we made it. But that Thursday evening was different. I had dressed up, really dressed up. A deep emerald gown I'd saved for months to buy, because tonight was supposed to be our night. His biggest investor was throwing a private dinner, and for the first time he had asked me to come. Be ready by 7, he'd texted. I was glowing. I even practiced my smile in the mirror, wanting to make him proud. I stepped outside the moment I heard his car. The gate was already half open. He was standing there in his tailored black suit, phone to his ear, laughing that low laugh I used to love, and beside him was her. Tall, polished, the kind of woman who looked like she belonged in boardrooms and private jets. I walked toward them, heels clicking on the stone path, heart full of nervous excitement. But he turned, saw me, and his smile vanished. He raised one hand like I was a stranger trying to crash his party. Elena, he said, voice flat, loud enough for the driver and the security guard to hear. This is all you can handle. The words landed like stones in my chest. He didn't even blink. The dinner's not for this. He gestured at me, at my carefully chosen dress, at the woman who had given him everything, as if I were a child who had wandered into the wrong room. Go back inside. This world isn't yours. The gate slammed shut between us. I stood there, frozen under the security lights, mascara already running, while his car pulled away, carrying him and her into the night. That moment at the gate didn't just break my heart. It shattered the entire life I thought we had built. Asterisk, I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I simply walked back into the house that suddenly felt too big, too empty, and too much like a lie. That night, I sat on the cold marble floor in my emerald gown and cried until there were no tears left. 12 years of my life were played in my head, like a cruel movie. Every time I had said, I believe in you, while he chased success. Every time I had smiled through exhaustion so he could keep chasing his dreams. And this was how he repaid me. By humiliating me at our own gate, in front of strangers, like I was something embarrassing he needed to hide. The next few days were a blur of pain. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying his words on loop. This is all you can handle. But pain has a way of sharpening your vision. One sleepless night, I opened his laptop, the one he always left unlocked because he thought I was too simple to understand business. What I found destroyed the last piece of me that still loved him. Messages, hundreds of them, photos, hotel bookings, plans to leave me quietly after the new investment came through. He had already transferred half our savings into an account under her name. The woman from that night, she wasn't just an investor's daughter, she was his partner in every sense. They had been together for almost 2 years while I was still cooking his favorite meals and believing we were forever. I sat there in the dark, reading every cruel word he had written about me. She's sweet but limited. Good for the past, not for the future. Something inside me cracked, and then it caught fire. I didn't confront him right away. No, I played the part. I smiled when he came home late, I made coffee in the morning like nothing had happened. But behind that smile, I was becoming someone he had never bothered to notice. I quietly met with a lawyer who specialized in high net worth divorces. I copied every financial record, every message, every transfer. I reached out to the one person I had never told him about, my old college roommate, who now ran a powerful media agency. And most importantly, I remembered something I had almost forgotten before I gave up everything for him. I was the one who could solve problems no one else could. The betrayal didn't just break me. It woke me up. 3 weeks later. The same gate opened again, but this time the scene was very different. His big investor dinner had turned into a lavish launch party for the new company. The entire city's elite was there. I arrived in a different dress, blood red, powerful, the kind of dress a woman wears when she is done hiding. I didn't knock. I simply walked through the open gate like I belonged there. Because this time I did. He was in the middle of giving a speech when he saw me. His face went pale. The microphone in his hand trembled. I stepped onto the small stage without being invited. The room fell silent. I looked straight into his eyes, the same eyes that had once promised me forever, and I spoke clearly, voice steady but full of every emotion I had carried. You said at our gate that this world wasn't mine, that this was all I could handle. I smiled, soft and sad. You were wrong. Then I played the audio. His own voice from one of the messages telling her how he was going to leave the limited one once the deal closed. The room gasped. Phones came out. Cameras flashed. Security tried to move me, but the investors stepped forward instead. They had already seen the financial documents. I had anonymously sent them that morning proof that he had been siphoning company funds into a secret account with his mistress. By the time the night ended, he had lost the investment, the company, and every ounce of respect he had spent 12 years building. The gate that once slammed in my face was now the place where his empire crumbled. He tried to speak to me as they escorted him out, voice shaking. Elena, please. I looked at him one last time and said the words I had practiced in my heart for weeks. This is all you can handle. I walked away without looking back. Today the house is mine. The garden is blooming again. And I stand at that same gate every evening, not waiting for anyone, but breathing in the quiet strength I finally found inside myself. If you ever find yourself humiliated at a gate, whether it's the gate of a home, a career, or a heart, remember this. The person who tries to shrink you is only afraid of how brightly you can shine. I thought love would save me. Turns out, betrayal did, and I have never been more free.